Well, this is Spotlight again. Thank you for being with us. I'm Pastor Dan. And we'll look at some of the hard questions that have to do with our destiny and future and life after death. And so I'll take on this one. I was at a party last night as we're taping this, and we were sort of there to honor a friend of ours whose wife has died. And he's a good guy, and I love him to death, and I baptized him years ago. But in his kind of longing to have some connection still with her, he says, I wonder if there's still a way in which she has a consciousness somewhere. So what do you think? It's very popular, the idea that as soon as you die, we go to heaven. And that you can be a spirit and you're watching. People say they're up there watching us while we're at the funeral. They're in a better place. They're free from pain, and they're in a spirit world or whatever. Of course, when you die, you could also go the other way. So this is called the intermediate state. We all believe in a resurrection where the dead will rise and will be with Jesus. Whether it's heaven or here, different people have different belief. But what about between now and when that happens? Where was Jesus when he died? When Jesus brought the young man back to life, or the widow of Nain's son, they have this funeral and he raises him back to life. Where had he been? Was he happy to be back here if he was in heaven already? How about the story of Lazarus? You know the story. Jesus gets the news that Lazarus has died. He says to them, Lazarus is sleeping. Let's go see him. And they said, if he's sleeping, he'll get well. No, he's dead. Death was like sleep. 50 times in the Bible says death is like sleep. And I reminded my dear brother last night, Ecclesiastes 9 verse 5 and 6, the dead know not anything. Psalms has it, they're asleep. Dreamless, quiet sleep. From the moment someone slips away to the moment of the resurrection is a split second to them. They have no sense of time going by. My father's not in the grave worrying about the time. They're not coming back to visit us. You can't call them up for advice. You can't go to a seance and connect with them. They're asleep. All asleep. We don't go to heaven one by one by one. We're asleep, waiting for Jesus to come, and we all go together. There's a lot of evidence for this if people really study the Bible carefully. When do we get our reward? Revelation 22. Behold, I am coming soon, and my reward is with me when he comes. When is the harvest? Matthew 25, the sheep and the goats, the left and the right. When the Son of Man comes to this earth. When is the judgment? At the end of the world. That's when it is. So the reward, the harvest, and the judgment, all at the end of the world. How can you go to heaven as soon as you die when you haven't had the judgment to decide where all that will be? So it's just backwards and upside down. What does Jesus say? Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in me. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me. When will we go with him? When he comes back. That's what it says. Hebrews chapter 11, wonderful chapter. And it lists all these great giants in the history of the faith. Abraham and Moses and Noah and all the others. And talks about the people that didn't even know, don't have names, who fought with bears and lions and who were sawn in two and in dungeons and lived in holes in the ground. It said the world was not worthy of them. And then it says, but even these great giant heroes of the faith have not yet received their reward. They haven't gone off to heaven. They're not up in heaven watching us now. It said they are waiting. And so that only together with us will they be made perfect. We go to heaven together. God is the great God of equality, and we will do this together. My Father's asleep. When we die, we're asleep. We have no idea of time going by. There's a famous story. This guy was working at a grain mill, those big stones grinding grain. People bring their grain, put it in there, and there were these huge beams out from the stones, and then there was a wheel and horses pulling the wheel. Well, this guy's telling a story. He got to go pick up something underneath there, so he ducked under there. But he came up too quick, and his head got hit, and he went out. They pulled him out. They poured some water on him. He immediately began to finish the story. People have been in a hospital room 10 years and then finish the story. Split second. My father died, got hit by a car. His next split second that he's awake, he'll see us and Jesus will come. In the meantime, he's sleeping. It's Spotlight. Hope you'll be with us next time. Thank you for watching Spotlight. We're so excited about this. We hope that you'll subscribe and so you'll get all of them. And please just forward it on to others and tell other people about it. And let's just see what kind of an audience we can get for these messages of Spotlight. God bless you.